turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And I'm joined today by an incredibly special guest. This man is one of the biggest hit makers in Boston, has been for a number of years. I'd say at least seven, maybe even about 7 years. You've definitely seen him around. If you haven't yet, you're in for quite the treat. But if you're a fan of the Massachusetts music scene, you of course know the one and only Rosewood Bape.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Appreciate you, bro. This is a long time coming.
Yeah.
I remember when we were at Y-Try's show for Shield 2. It actually wasn't, because Shield 3 just happened.
Right.
I believe it was Y-Try's, right?
It was, right, yeah.
We were hanging out by the bar, and I don't know if it was me or you, but one of us was just like, man, when are we doing a podcast?
Yeah.
And I was we'll make it happen. Yeah. And then, but here we are like a year and a half later, finally made it work.
Exactly.
But you've had a lot going on up to that point,
right? But
also since then, so there's a ton to talk about, and I'm excited. And but first off, how are you? How's things?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just taking it one day at a time, man. You know what I mean? Trying to learn as much as I can. I'm always looking up things. I'm always researching things, trying to just grow as an artist,
Yeah. Well, you've definitely done that. No doubt about it.
Thank you.
And we just off air, you said you just bought a home recently, so congratulations on that. That's good. How does that feel now?
Feeling good. Yeah. Just starting that portfolio, man. Just owning something.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's tough in this market, so good for you to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Well, when we're starting out in the show, if anyone's a fan of Rosewood, just coming on to us for the first time, we always start with the objective, so we get to know about you and your background. Okay. So we're gonna take it back a bit.
Yeah.
So you being somebody that I feel like you've been self-made, right? You didn't have any formal training as an artist and a producer. You were really self-taught.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, growing up in Matapan as somebody that was, into music, how did you get your sort of understanding or your start from, wanting to be somebody that would songwrite and produce and make music? Where did that all begin?
That's a great question. So I'd say Matapan's probably about 10% of my life, So growing up there was pretty cool. I'd say it shaped and molded me to be the person I am today. Well, really, when I had settled in the South Shore, Brockton, Fall River, I moved around a lot, what I mean? So I'd say my love for music didn't come to when I really settled in the South Shore. I was in high school, and I had downloaded, I had just got my first computer. I was probably about 15, 16 years old. All my friends had computers, what I mean? My mother couldn't really afford one, single mother type of vibe.
Same here.
So,
I feel
so
you.
So, when I got it, I felt, years behind. But when I finally got it, I was just so curious. I was into music. And at the time, this was when kind of melodic rap kind of started getting a little bit on the rise. I don't know if you're familiar with the artist from Atlanta called Roscoe Dash.
I do, actually. I remember Roscoe Dash.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
He had a song with... I don't remember any of his songs off the top of my head, by name, but I know he definitely had a song with Wale back in the day.
Wale and Waka Flocka, No Hands.
Yes,
that record.
That was
that
it.
Record,
that was that record.
Was big. That record was big. So, I had downloaded. I was so in love with that sound and what he was doing, and I downloaded a software called Mixcraft.
Okay.
And Mixcraft is baby Pro Tools. You know what I mean? It's Pro Tools, but the easy version. So from there I just started just looking up little presets and auto-tune things to just really find my sound and find my way to kind of get into that melodic wave. So, that's when I really fell in love with the music. So that was 2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it took, until you dropped your first project, which was in 2017, Rose Gold, correct? So that was 7 years of really trying to find that sound and hone in on that?
For sure, man. I'd say that for sure. I mean, trying to just find different things. I'm, I'm the rapper. I'm trying to spit bars, and I'm like, this is cool, but there's a lot to remember. I like to sing, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I really love R&B, and I really cherish that. So I'm like, how do I lean into this but make it a more rap sound? And I feel like I've really mastered that. So now, as of late, as you've been seeing, I've been trying to just do different things, the pop and everything like that. So,
right, because I feel like not to jump to this, we'll talk about it soon, but with the new body work, it felt more almost pop driven in a lot of ways, right? That's interesting. I feel like it's great that you've cultivated a sound that worked for you, but what I've always respected about you and your music is you've always found a way to try to elevate that to the sort of the inevitable next stage of that, right? And so for you as a songwriter, because I know that's something that really means a lot to you from the songwriting standpoint.
It does.
So were you somebody growing up that loved to write, or was that not really, did that come like after the fact of you getting really deeply invested in wanting to, like you said, learn the music process? Then you started writing. Like which came first, the chicken or the egg, so to speak?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'd say more so what came first was me trying to get a feel of it, as far as even to this day, I've adopted this process where like the hook gotta come first. Like, you know, I don't even touch the verse. Like when I hear a beat, I'm like, what's gonna be the most repetitious part of the song? What am I gonna say? How am I gonna say it? So I'd say the writing piece came first.
Yep.
If I really want to put a stamp on it, the writing piece came first, and then from there, everything else just, you know, you could always sharpen your sword when it comes to just your craft, right? So I'm always gonna be working on the writing. That's just, you know, what comes with the territory. So yeah, definitely the writing. The writing came first.
Writing came first.
Yeah.
Cool. Was there like was there ever a moment like early on when it clicked for you, like something you wrote, you're like, oh, this is like really dope? And like, was there anything specific you remember, like the first time you wrote something of like, oh wow, this is actually working?
So there was this record I got called "The World Is Mine," and all of them, but like, you know, my friends and like my early Rosewood Bape days, before they called me Babe and Ape, and that's Bathe and Ape, but like, you know, the girls used to call me Babe and Ape just to say it like fast, you know what I mean? You know, copywritten, like just call me this, you know, but people know what they mean, you know. But yeah, man, I'd say I'd say that was definitely so. So there was a song called "World Is Mine" that it's like, yeah, the world is mine. But really, I came up with it looking at Scarface, and he has like, you know, the in his mansion, Scarface, he has like the world is mine. I think it's like a lamp. You know what I mean? So people that watch Scarface, they gonna know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so.
I remember.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then when you had originally released Rose Gold, it got a ton of great feedback and critical acclaim. Like, what was that like, having not really dropped? Because had you dropped a couple of singles before then, or was it just that project?
It was just that project.
Right, that's what I figured. I didn't see anything before that.
Well, I had dropped. So really, what kicked off Rose Gold was I didn't really have a plan to drop a full body of work. I came in this like, I'm gonna just drop singles.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just be the Jeremiah, the Ty Dolla Sign. He might hear from me every summer, drop singles, but the record that really kicked it off for me locally was Taxi.
Right.
So I dropped Taxi before I dropped Rose Gold.
That was what, 2015?
Right.
Yeah.
We're approaching the 9-year anniversary in May.
Wow.
You know, so that's what really kicked it off for me. So, you know, that was 2015. Rose Gold was 2017. So within that 2-year period, it's just me just like trying to just figure myself out as an artist. Like, oh, I got to drop an album. This is real now. This isn't just a hobby anymore. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
That feels like it was, I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, it felt like a long time coming since you started in 2010.
Yeah.
But really, that doesn't really happen super often for somebody to drop their first single and have it in the first project and have it garner that much attention. So how did you handle that early on? Because I feel like you can potentially, I don't want to say crash and burn, but you can really, or maybe even get a certain ego that comes with that. So how did you try to keep yourself humble and realize like, yeah, I'm getting all this attention, but I want to obviously, like, there's another level I can get to. So how did you sort of keep all of that in check? Because again, I feel like that's just a unique sort of circumstance for you to get so much attention off of like your first project and first single.
I watch a lot of interviews. I like to call myself a student of the game. Mm-hmm. So, you know, looking at this interviews like a Russ or 50 Cent where they talk about just, you know, knowing what you want to get out of this music thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm like, all right, I'll be honest, I made the mistakes of having the ego. Oh, I got the best song in the city, man. I'll be all right in a year. I don't gotta, you know. Then it's like, you know, 6 months go by, like, oh, no one's playing anymore. I gotta make another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went through all that. I went through those motions, just young, just trying to really figure it out. The biggest thing for me was just not knowing the business. And I'd say, you know, any artist that's trying to come in it, definitely get familiarized with the business, because that's what this is really all about. You know what I mean? How are you going to feed your family with this, or yourself, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I definitely had to take some ego bruisers trying to just, you know, go get through those motions, you know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah, it was, how did I handle it? It was one of those, you know, what's the expression? You just out in the jungle, man. Just, you know, you just got to just live, man. It was day by day kind of thing, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Making mistakes, fall, and, you know, and really learn from each one.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. And so off of that, I have another question that's dawning on me now. So what was one thing that you learned really early on about the music business that you really felt like was really important that you learned that as early as you did, or maybe one piece of advice you'd have for upcoming artists that really are trying to learn the business side of it? Because I agree with you. I think that's an incredibly important piece to learn.
Definitely get yourself affiliated with like a performing rights organization. Whether it be like a BMI or ASCAP. I lost tons of money, bro, at first, like just not knowing this shit, man. Just, all the streaming, all the back end stuff that comes in, the residuals, and you only get a certain amount of time for it to be retro pay. They only go back like 2-3 years to really pay you. And for me, I didn't learn that until like my first writing placement with PnB Rock. God rest his soul. So
of course,
that's when I really was like, hold on, no, I wrote a song and it went gold. Where's the money? Like, it didn't go gold yet, but PnB,
it did eventually.
Yeah. And I knew it was a big record. I'm looking at all the streams. I'm like, what's going on? Why am I still, and at that time I was still working a job. So just get more familiarized with the business for sure.
It's funny you say this all because so most people know, like, at least fans of us. So I'm working on this compilation album that I did. It's almost done. It's pretty much, by the time this comes out, hopefully a single will already be out by now. I have literally 3-4 songs left to mix, but it's 20 producers, 42 artists, all from Massachusetts, who came together to create this project, which is really sweet. And I'll never forget this. It was about 6 months ago, before I even started like getting really into like the recording side of things for this. My business partner Zafir was like, we are sitting down and we are getting you an ASCAP. And again, these are things that I'm not an artist, so it's not like I don't really know what that is. So he walked me through that, and like, so I haven't released any music technically. I will soon, but like, I now have an ASCAP, and so like, again, I feel like that's super important to like have someone in your corner, at least like you said, just to even do the research of knowing all these things and listening, being a student of the game, as you say,
and asking questions too. I remember my first session with the legendary Jon Glass, man.
Shout out to Jon,
man, and he sat me down like, hey, yo, there's this thing called Song Trust and Sound Exchange. Like, there's more to it. It's not just the BMI and ASCAP. There's other things and other avenues. So, when he really sat me down and put me onto that game, it ended up working out for me.
I've heard that about him specifically, that he, like, I don't want to say won't work with an artist unless they have those things, but like he really, especially if they're early on in their career, like he really takes the time to sit down with them. Yeah. I love that. That he does that, and I think that's incredibly important because, like you said, you're building a potential infrastructure for your future family to potentially live off of your music, which is like which is the goal for like all of us,
of course,
that are creating something, right? We would ideally, in a perfect world, love to make, find it. I mean, it's not the reason why we do it, but in a lot of ways, it would be fantic to make money off of what we create.
For sure. I love this. This is a therapy for me. You know what I mean? It's the mic is my therapist. I'm speaking. You know what I mean? Just a lot of life stuff. Whether or not I'm detailed in the lyrics or not, but there's still emotions behind it. You know what I mean? So for the most part, I do it because I love it. But for the most part, it is important to get your business intact.
Of course.
Yeah.
No question about it. Well, I mean, hey, like I said, if you're really somebody that is, early on in your career and you want to learn stuff about the business, I feel like that is ultimately the best way to do it, is just to get as many resources as you can, reach out, ask questions. You're even saying off air that Chomani reached out to you and asked a question. Like, that's fantastic, right? Like, it's good for, and he's somebody that I feel like is a great example of someone that just wants to learn. So
Trillmanny, Elo, shout out to him, shout out to Trillmanny. But yeah, man, just again, I just like to just be someone who people can come up to, like, hey, what do I do about this? And I'm not one of the, I don't want to feel like a gatekeeperish kind of guy. Like, if I got game, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I mean? Because I want to see you win too.
Yeah. And I feel like you're somebody now that's established themselves enough. You're a name, of course, and people like, you're very much well respected in this industry, even especially as a Massachusetts artist. So I feel like you've come a long way in your career, and there's a lot. I love the idea and the mindset to be like, I'm gonna like be somebody that will be not an open book, but someone that can at least you can come to, and again, it's not going to gatekeep, and you're going to give people advice and stuff like that.
Yeah, pay it forward, man.
That's because that's how we'll build infrastructure here in Massachusetts, right? Exactly. And build like legacies here, right?
Yeah.
So, well, I really appreciate that a lot, Rosewood.
Thank you, bro.
I've always seen you to be somebody like genuine like that anyway, so that doesn't surprise me at all. So I want to get into the main lesson where we talk about what you got going on now, and of course we got to talk about the new album
for sure,
right? Rose from Nothing, and it is a fantastic body of work. 13 tracks. 13 for the Rose Gold. I got that confused. 15 tracks. Talk to me about this album, because like I said, I loved the progression. Diary of a Playboy was my actually first entry point to you, and then I had to go backwards because I didn't get into the music scene out here until about 2020. So like you dropped that at 21, and so that kind of made sense, right? But and then I kind of went back, listened to Rose Gold and all that. But so that project, what struck me a lot again was the melodic rap that you were able to really, I feel like, master at that point. And now I feel like you've done that. There's a lot of that still on this project, but there's some pop elements here that I was surprised to hear. But in my opinion, they went over quite nicely. Thank you. Was that an intention going into this? Because I know you're sort of you coined yourself. I mean, and a lot of people have coined you as well as a hitmaker. So was that sort of something you kept in mind? Like you just want to like create catchy songs and like the pop, or was that kind of just a gradual process into sort of leaning more into that sound?
I'd say more a gradual process. I mean, I believe you can make a hit like with any genre. You know what I mean? Whether it be pop or rap or country, whatever. You know, if it's country, I mean, if it's vibey, if it works, then you know, why not? Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a gradual process for sure. And I'm sorry, what was the question again? It was.
No, just about like your like evolving your sound slightly to get to this sort of more pop style.
Yeah. I mean, it's just where I'm at in my life right now.
Yeah.
You know, father of two, you know, knowing they're going to grow up and listen to my stuff one day and see me on YouTube and all these are all things that I think about. So it's like, all right, how do I really want to, you know, how do I want to pivot but still be me and still have fun, you know, and you know, I'm not in the clubs like every single weekend like I was in my 20s. So, you know, the club music, you know, I'm always still going to make it, but you know, the pop stuff is really just where I'm at right now because, you know, it's feel good music. You know, you feel good, you're ready to go out, you know, going out with your lady, having fun with your kids. Just, you know what I mean? That's just where I'm at right now in my life.
Yeah, so that's funny you say that because I feel like a lot of especially your visuals, right? Like they were very much that mindset of like either we're gonna, you know, so many of your visuals are just, you know, house party, women, fun music. We're just gonna like get that. So you feel as a father now like you're starting to pivot in like a different direction, even maybe visually at this point. Or? Yeah,
a little bit. I wouldn't say like all the way. I'd say more so just in the lyrics, more so just putting out more love. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Love records and. You know, motivational type of music, like get up and go get it kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm definitely more mindful of that these days.
Gotcha.
For sure. So the pop stuff for me it just feels good, bro. I love 80s. I was just listening to Tina Marie on the way here. Like,
oh, no kidding.
You know, yeah. So I mean, I just love different kinds of music, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jon Glass really helped bring that out of me for Diary of a Playboy. Because before Diary of a Playboy, if you listen to Rose Gold, that's just strictly, you know, rap. You know, it was R&B, but you know, it was like more rap based. You know, rap foundation. You know what I mean? Street music. You know what I mean? Club music. But then when me and Jon Glass linked and he brought that 80s pop out of me, I'm like, I didn't even know I had this in me. Let's experiment. And then boom, Playboy came out.
That's super cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Rose from Nothing.
Yeah.
I love that title.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rosewood, that makes sense. But then, of course, you know, so given the fact that, you know, you clearly feel like you rose from nothing. So what does that title mean to you, and why did you feel so strongly about that being the title for this project, especially like where you are now in your career? I feel like it makes sense to name an album like this where you are currently, but I want to hear from your perspective of like why that meant a lot to you.
For sure. Well, I just feel like whenever you look back in your journey, whatever journey you're on, you know, you're always gonna, you know, the hope is to excel. You know what I mean? And when you excel, every now and then I look back like, man, I really went through that stuff, man. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah, I really rose from nothing, dog. I can't believe I'm here right now. Yeah. So that's why I named it this, honestly. I just feel like I'm in a different place musically, just as a man too. You know, I'm just in a different element, man. You know what I mean? More positive, just, you know, more business oriented. And so when I look back and, you know, and I reminisce, it's like, yo, I really rose from nothing. So that's, you know, that's really why I named the album that, you know. I knew it was going to be a mixture of Rose Gold and a little bit of Playboy. How do I combine the two? Because I love the Playboy sound, you know what I mean? The R&B, fully just kind of guitar, bass. But man, like I still want to have a good time too. You know, I still want that umph. I still want to, all right, let's blend it. And that's what Rose from Nothing was, you know what I mean? Looking back, like, man, it was a journey, you know what I mean? All the rejections, all of the, you know, it's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be stuff going on. But
for sure,
every now and then I like to just, you know, live in the present and smell the flowers.
Totally.
Smell the roses.
You smell the roses. I love it. Yeah. Definitely. You got some great features on here too. Obviously, you got Millyz.
I got Millyz
CHAVO,
on here,
hayBand,
man, and I got Hollywood Chris from Lawrence. He's coming up right now.
Totally.
He's doing his thing. Just me, just trying to reach out and like, hey, next generation, trying to really help mold that. So, yeah, and a kid named Honest from the Worcester area. Again, someone who I respect. I love their sound and just want to help put on. But yeah, the Millyz feature, that's everyone's favorite right now.
Totally. Yeah, everyone's really into that. So,
yeah.
How has Millyz been somebody like, again, I feel like in a lot of ways he embodies Rose from nothing, right? In a ton of ways.
Hell
so
yeah.
how has he been helpful for you in this part of your career specifically? Because I know you guys have become a little bit closer over the last, few years or so. So how has he helped at all potentially with your journey?
He's actually him and I have been tight since I want to say like 2016 when I dropped Taxi. Before he kind of broke the mold. We had sessions together and stuff like that. I would always pick his brain. He'd pick my brain. I linked up with him in New York. I had some shows in New York in the past. I invited him to come through. So It's always been a cordial relationship. And he's around like his management, like he's really, really, really cool dude. And I'm Haitian, they're Haitian, so Millyz is around a lot of Haitians. So it just made sense. It made sense. And how he's helped me, just man, in ways you wouldn't even know, bro. Even to this day, like he gave me a shout out on like one of his interviews with On the Radar, and then 3 months later, I'm on that platform.
They're calling you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just it helps for real.
What's striking me, and this kind of maybe even goes back to our other conversation, like you have someone like him on the project, right? Or even CHAVO, like they've definitely been established for a little while, but then you're bringing in obviously these other artists that are a little bit more up and coming, and like I don't want to say you're hanging in the middle there, but you're pulling from that end of it, right? And they're helping you grow, but then you're in turn on the same project bringing up some others as well.
For sure.
Like that's so cool to me.
Yeah. You learn from the generation coming up too.
Yes.
Right? So it's just, I don't want to be the out of touch guy, So that's really what that is.
I was just having this conversation with Luke Bars. He just came on before you, and we had the same conversation. He felt the exact same way about that, of just there's no point in being the old man on get off my lawn, you kids. There is a lot you can learn and take away from that. Like, I mean, I'm a high school teacher, and like for me, it's cool to like. I may not like all the music that they're listening to, but it's like, okay, what do you guys see as like hot right now? Like, what are the kids listening to? Because it's important to be at least tapped into that, and just be like, okay, well, what do they see value in this music that maybe I'm not seeing? Right. Instead of just being like, oh, that's crap.
That's crap. Yeah. I didn't want to be that guy. Because I mean, growing up, that was what kind of the generation before was saying about the music. I was listening to.
Correct. Absolutely.
When Soulja Boy first came out, crank that Soulja Boy. She was not a Soulja Boy fan, and I'd always get, hey, why you listen to this, man? Come on, this isn't real rap. Nah, this is where it's headed, bro. Come on, man. Just simple. Easy to digest music, man. Like this is what it is. So,
I'll never forget my mom was really dope with where she would like. I wanted to buy Get Rich or Die Trying, and I wanted to buy College Dropout and Encore and Speakerbox Love Below, right? All these albums.
Classics.
Oh yeah, that was the first album. Well, I had them all on CDs. Obviously, obviously over the years have now like revamped my vinyl collection. But I was like at the time. I think we're like in the same age bracket. I'm 30, so I'm like
same bracket.
And so CDs were big when we were growing up, right? So you'd go to the CD store, you'd go to like I think For Your Entertainment, I believe it was called at the time, even a Target, Walmart, whatever. So I remember I was 9-10 years old, maybe not even 10. And all these, I'm hearing all these songs on the radio, and I'm like, I was like that kid that I was just constantly like looking up music, and just I was fascinated by all this stuff, and because my mom growing up, like she played a lot of like 80s, 90s classic music, or even like rock. Like I was, she played a lot of Elton John, Fleetwood Mac, but then she was also big into like Luther Vandross and Kenny G and like all these different things. So then like I'm hearing, like Outkast on the radio. I'm like, it kind of sounds a little bit like what Kenny G and Luther's doing, but way more like there's more tempo there, and there's more modernized. I'm like, I'm fascinated by this, right? And I'll never forget, my mom and I would broker a deal of like, you can get those albums, they just gotta be the clean versions. I'm 10, which makes like at that point it makes total sense. Let's do it. But I never forget my dad being like, coming home from work, being like, what is this? Like, turn it off. I'm like, nah, this is like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, I didn't like how that ever felt, right? So
Right,
in a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, maybe I catch myself doing that sometimes. Like when my students are like, "Oh, my favorite artist is, I don't know, whoever is big right now." I'm like, maybe I don't like that artist, but you know what? If they see value, they see value.
They see value, yeah. Exactly. I agree 100%. And as an artist, I try to, dissect what they're feeling and try to see how I can incorporate that feeling into, what I like to do, so that way I'm not compromising my vibes, you know what I mean?
No, that's a good point. Very good point. What would be, I'm not going to say what's your favorite song. I've kind of tried, come away from that. It's like picking between your children. I'm not going to make you do that.
Yeah.
So you have 15 songs here.
Yeah.
If somebody has not listened to this album yet, what would be a good song to introduce them to the Rosewood Bape vibe that Rose from Nothing is? Like, maybe not necessarily the first track, but like, is there a song that you feel is a good introduction point to get somebody to maybe listen to the full project?
Oh, for sure. All Night Long. That was produced by Brady. And the reason I say that record is because it's an electrifying record. You know what I mean? It's
Totally.
it's poppy, but it's what I'm singing is of today. I'm using today's lingo. I'm using today's vibe. I'm using what everyone's pretty much talking about, and I'm just kind of blending the two genres together. So
cool.
I'd say All Night Long for sure.
Do you mind if we play a clip of it for the people?
Of course.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. This is All Night Long from
Night Long.
Rosewood Bape off his brand new album Rose from Nothing.
Yeah.
Here's a clip for you guys, and we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Girl, I love when you work it online, but look better in person. Backed up, seeing you out with a Birkin. Putting miles on you, getting your surface. All night long, outside looking just like a circus. These girls either broke or they worthless. No motion is making me nervous. Shorty, I'm searching. Oh, come along when I see you. Just show me the real you. Let me feel you, girl. All night long. How much I gotta spend to be more than a friend so I can feel you, girl. All night long. I'm sipping on agave with the ice.
So that was All Night Long from Rosewood Bape's brand new album, Rose from Nothing. It's linked in the description, so make sure you add that to whatever streaming platform it is that you use. Don't go anywhere yet. We got plenty left with Rosewood, so make sure you click those links after the episode.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this has been great. I really appreciate you being on here. We do need to quickly pivot. I have a few more questions I want to ask you in the main lesson. Some great topics, but we always like to have a pop quiz on the show. So
All right.
This is where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. Some of them have to do with music. Some maybe have absolutely nothing to do with music at all. Just maybe some things I either found out about you or maybe interests I found. Again, nothing embarrassing. It's all good stuff, and it's all about you. So as long as you know yourself, you'll ace it. You'll be fine. No one's ever failed.
Exactly.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I know you're a fan of spicy drinks. Is that true?
Oh, man, how'd you know that? Yeah, I am.
Yeah?
I am.
So what would be like your favorite spicy drink of all time? Because like I am fascinated by this. I don't really ever drink spicy drinks.
Oh, man, I'm a spicy marg guy.
Spicy marg.
Spicy marg, yeah. Whenever I'm at the bar, spicy marg. That's what I get. No rim.
No rim. I don't do the rim either when I get margaritas. No, I don't do the rim. Yeah. Okay, cool. Spicy marg. I like it. This is a more sentimental one, and I'm curious. You mentioned it a bit earlier. What impact did PnB Rock have on you, and what will you remember most about him?
Oh, man. PnB Rock, I'd say he had a huge impact on me, man. Just learning how to move as an artist. Like, he's like his first star I ever met in person, man. The way he carried himself, the way he would handle fans, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I took a lot of notes, and he showed a lot of love. And how we talked about just kind of reaching out to the younger generation, showing love. Like, that's something I got from bro. So, yeah.
Super tragic.
Yeah.
That was a horrible story I remember reading. And rest in peace, of course. Rest in
peace,
power,
Rock.
honestly.
Yeah.
To PnB. And then what was your reaction when Ride For Me went gold? Like, what was your initial reaction when that happened?
So Ride For Me is the record that he actually we did on my first album for Rose Gold. But what actually went gold was
that's not the one that went gold?
No. What went gold was his record, There She Go.
My apologies.
So There
Sorry.
She Go is a record that I co-wrote with PnB Rock, and the producer was a Boston-based producer, Busy Genius. Shout out to Busy. And the way that was a fun story, man. His A&R, PnB Rock's A&R, reached out to me before his first album, and hey, like, listen, yo, I was in Boston this past weekend. They were playing your stuff. I love your pen, bro. I got this guy managing PnB Rock, Orlando Wertenberg. Shout out to Orlando. And at the time, he was A&Ring with PnB and Kodak Black, A Boogie, and I'm like, oh, okay. At first, I was a little bummed, like, no, I want to be an artist, man. But I had to really start to think about, like, no, like, this could be a good business move, man. Just start building your portfolio. So, sure enough, my first record I co-wrote with PnB went gold. Yeah,
That's incredible.
There She Go. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So when you found that out, like, what was like your initial sort of reaction to that?
I was so happy, bro, because it was the validation I needed that I was really built for this.
Yeah. And I love that sentiment of just being like, you know what, this could be like checking the ego at the door. It's like, this doesn't necessarily need to be my song, but I'm going to be a part of this, and this could be a potential avenue for myself as an artist. Maybe not looking at it from that perspective necessarily, but just seeing it as an opportunity rather than, oh, I know, I'm just an artist. Like, I don't.
Well, yeah, I know.
I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
Thank you,
I think
brother.
that's a great mentality to have.
Oh, for sure. Again, yeah, young, just I want to be an artist. Oh, but having people talk to me like, nah, think about it. And yeah, as an artist too, you weren't wrong. It's a good networking kind of way to kind of get in there, getting to know the artist. You know what I mean? Because if you're just sending, oh, let me get on my song. All right, sure, give me 30,000. Oh, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, really, it's just a way to build with the artist and just get they'll rock with you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So to kind of switch gears a little bit, I know you're obviously a big fashion guy.
Yeah.
Love the tracksuit, bro.
Yeah, this is TMC, Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. The Puma. Yeah.
Dope. I know it's fire.
The marathon continues, man. I love what he stands for. The marathon continues. Never quit.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I really think, Cole brought this up in a song. I think it's super important because, I feel like people were fans of Nipsey before he died, right? But I feel like it was once he died, I feel like he almost, I don't say blew up, but like he became more popular when he died. And it's and Cole was mentioned talking about that in the Lil Durk song that he did with All My Life from last year. And that's like, I don't know. It's like one of those things of like, what is it about when people pass that like all of a sudden I don't know. It's just, I don't know what I'm trying to ask, but it's
that's
just
weird too. I think that's weird too. I've even seen it happen with Rock, but I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I get it. I get, why it can be frowned upon sometimes, but I just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And just accept the fact that, your legacy was very strong enough to impact and mean a lot that it's spreading like wildfire. You know what I mean? So that's just where I'm at right now. Just taking it for what it is.
His last project was so damn good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I still bumped that thing.
Me too.
That shit's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, you clearly, you like your fashion. You definitely.
Yeah.
What's a piece of, or a staple piece of clothing in your closet that you can't be without?
My very first Bape shirt. It's a black and red bathing ape shirt. I bought it back in 2007.
Okay.
I still got it to this day.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't
that's
fit.
Quite the staple.
Yeah. I can't fit it, but it's there. It's why I got called Bape. You know what I mean? Just being in high school with it, the only one with it. I think I had flown to Florida just to cop it. And then, this is when Soulja Boy was out. Just, I got me some bathing apes. And, and I just wanted to just, be the first one to really stamp it out here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the best hit record as being someone that loves making hits?
Yeah.
What's the best hit record you've heard so far, maybe this year or in the last, or even you can even say last year? And then to follow up question, what are like your top 3 hit records of all time?
Ooh. Okay. This year so far?
Can be for Massachusetts or nationally. It doesn't need to be anywhere specific, but
yeah. Man, this year so far, I don't know, man. I live in my own world, man. As far as just like the music goes, but I do like some people out here. Man,
I am putting you on the spot too.
No. I know. Like, let me look. I gotta look. I gotta look at my.
Gotta look at the library.
Yeah, the library. Yep.
We might need a time swipe. But
Yeah.
We'll edit that in if we need it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go with right now. The biggest hit that I'm currently rocking with is the Four Bats Kid. It's in a night in APL.
I don't know if I've heard four bats.
4 bats, yeah. His voice is like high pitched, it's very slow.
Okay.
Kind of R&B. I think Drake just hopped on his record.
Oh, is that what that just came out recently?
Yeah. He's like relatively new. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know where he's from, but
all right, I'll have to tap in.
Yeah. But I appreciate, R&B. I'm always going to appreciate people that's keeping the genre alive.
Yeah.
And see, if the second part of that question, I'm gonna have to go with 50 Cent in the club, man. That's
Yeah. That's classic.
Classic, man.
It's
Classic.
What a hit.
Classic.
I mean,
even we talk about the Super Bowl. All Usher got a freaking catalog, classics.
Yeah,
Caught
bro.
Up, My Boo with Alicia Keys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. My Way, You Got It Bad. I love hits, man.
Yeah. Cool. I'm right there with you. We
Yeah.
quickly grew up in the same
Yeah,
era because
exactly.
those are all the same.
Yeah.
I remember when In the Club came out. That was like the biggest song, bro.
I remember.
It's still big, man.
It is.
Kids these days still they won't know. Like a lot of kids, like again, because I'm around them a lot. Like they'll be like, "Oh, who's this Ludacris person?" A lot of them didn't know who Ludacris was when Usher brought out Ludacris, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was either 2 years ago, maybe, when Dr. Dre. Or 3 years ago
for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl,
he
brought out 50 and
50,
that. Everybody obviously at that time still knew In the Club. Even like the kids now, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that song."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
it's big.
It's iconic. It's timeless. It's everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those are good points. I could be wrong about this, so forgive me. Are you a WWE fan?
Oh man, fanatic.
That's what I thought.
Fanatic.
I was wondering that.
Yeah.
Give me your Mount Rushmore. I like these Mount Rushmore questions. Your Mount Rushmore of WWE greats. So the top 4 WWE people in your opinion.
I'm gonna go with The Rock right now. He got things on fire right now. Modern era Roman Reigns. They're doing a good job with him. I like Shawn Michaels. He had
Shawn Michaels.
You know what I mean? Shawn Michaels. He has like the Playboy kind of wrestler kind of theme thing. You know what I mean? Going for him. Triple H. And then Undertaker for sure.
Cool.
For sure. Undertaker. Yeah.
I'm not a wrestling fan per se, but there was a really interesting story I saw recently that with Randy Orton. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
Or his wife was like, I think she either saw him on TV or something like that, but like was infatuated with him. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna marry him," and all her friends said she was literally crazy. And then she went to one of his events, and he picked her out of a crowd.
Yep.
Like
that's
kind of nuts, man.
Yeah.
Talk about manifesting, right?
Yeah. I know. I think you were talking about they just dropped the A&E biography about.
That's
him.
what it is.
And then she mentioned that. Yeah.
I noticed that. That was pretty cool. And then when I was doing some research on you, I'm like, oh, he seems like you had, retweeted some WWE stuff. I'm like, I think he likes WWE.
Man, I love WWE, man. They came to Providence, Rhode Island. I went to that show, CM Punk.
Oh, that's
all
pretty
that
close
stuff.
to you. Yeah, South Shore.
Yeah. That's on my to-do list, man. To go, purchase one of them VIP tickets and meet everybody, man. You know what I mean?
Dope.
Yeah.
Maybe write a song for one of them at some
point.
point.
Yeah. Write a theme song, come out. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Best part of Haitian culture that most people may know nothing about, like speaking from someone that's not Haitian, right?
Oh,
like
the food.
Yeah,
definitely the food.
Is there a staple item or dish that you think is like superior than the rest?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but I mean, there's a dish called juya legume, and that's pretty much translated to just rice and legume. I mean, it's like an eggplant, carrots, beef kind of protein. That's really good, really cool. Good, really good, high in fiber, and it's very, very, very contagious.
We're all about our nutrition out here, right? Get your greens, get your grains, get your highs, get your fiber, people.
Very, very addictive.
Yeah. My last question is, what your experience was like recently going to On the Radar.
Yo, that was an experience, man. So again, we brought up Millyz and stuff like that. So I had reached out to them via email, and then part of my pitch was yo, listen, Rosewood Bape, here's a clip of bro mentioning me, and I just want to get on your platform, and I just dropped the Rose from nothing. Would love to get on there, part of the rollout. Let me know what the details are. Yeah, they got back to me in an hour. Hey, yo, we're all booked up for the New York one, but our next one's in Detroit in 2 weeks. You want to come to that? Sure. All right, cool. You're in. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, so that was the process. But yeah, flying out there. As soon as I got off the flight, didn't really have a chance to really just kind of unwind, man. So really, right after I got off the flight, went right straight to there.
Oh wow!
And then just killed it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And then I got to spend some time in Detroit. You know,
Was that your first time in Detroit? Or
yeah. I had went to Michigan State, not like as a student, but the party. I knew some people out there.
Okay.
yeah. So that wasn't necessarily Detroit. That was Ann Arbor, Michigan.
All right. So, Michigan or Michigan State? Michigan State's East Lansing, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was Michigan.
It was Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, even worse. I'm an Ohio State fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact you were in when you said Ann Arbor, I go, wait, that's Michigan.
That's Michigan. I knew there was I got it confused. Yeah. It was Michigan and then Michigan State. So I was in Ann Arbor. That's Michigan, right?
Yeah, that is Michigan.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm a big Ohio State fan.
And when I had went that year, they had just got like a new field and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I went out there to party. I know some people out there.
Whatever.
Michigan, baby.
No, Ohio State, baby. Go Buckeyes. No, like you're fine. All right, Rosewood. You know what? This is done. We're done here.
That's real.
No, I'm kidding. It's all love. Yeah. Well, that was pop quiz. You definitely aced it. You did well. Great job.
Thank you. Great job. That was some good research you done, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try. I do my best.
Thank you.
I do my best.
Yeah.
So I wanted to switch gears a little bit. This is a conversation that I don't have to like rehash the same conversation, so I don't want to make it seem like that. But just coming from an education standpoint, right, and being a teacher, and working with kids so I actually, for context, I actually coach a basketball team at the school that I work at. It's called Unified Basketball.
That's what's up.
And it's a branch actually of the Special Olympics now. A lot of towns in not even just Massachusetts but throughout the country are starting to create teams for special needs and special education students, which I think is incredible, right? I think it's a great way to include students that maybe wouldn't have a chance to play in another setting. Right. And I know you had spoken with Charlie from CWTFB Radio pretty recently about your son's autism diagnosis, and you were very candid and open about that. And I just first off wanted to commend you for that, and also like I'm aware. I mean, I don't have children of my own, so I can't sit there and talk about from that perspective. But I can from at least an education standpoint, and just working with those students, it can definitely be difficult, no question. But it's such a rewarding process, and so I'm curious for you though, like what have you learned about yourself through your son now, like with his diagnosis? You don't have to get super in depth if you don't want to, but I don't want to put you on the spot for like talk too much about your family, but I just clearly like your kids, I'm sure mean a lot to you. So what has this sort of whole process been like, and what have you learned about either being yourself as a father? Even
I'd say patience taught me, it just taught me a lot of patience, and when it comes to just dealing with individuals with certain delays on things, patience is the number one factor that's going to help you deal with it. So I'd say that for sure. It definitely helped me just kind of appreciate the now, and gave me my rehash my faith and just kind of having hope, and once the hopes are achieved, it's like, all right, yes, I knew you could do this. I knew you could, you know what I mean, say this word and stuff like that. I'd say definitely that's what it taught me.
Sure, and then just as being a father in general, like what has that been like for you?
Man, it's very rewarding.
You had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah. Two kids, 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, man, boy and a girl, and patience. Patience, man.
It's the theme of the episode.
Repeating yourself. Kids is gonna be kids, man. You know what I mean, and just really enjoying that, and it helped me mold myself and just becoming a better man and more organized and. You got to give your kids a better hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Just, a better hand than how I was when I grew up. So that's kind of where I'm at right now mentally. You know what I mean? So just being a parent, definitely taught me that. Yeah.
Hey, man. Well, I mean, everything we talked about off air, like I feel like you're creating that for your kids, and like I really appreciate that a lot because I came from a single mom household as well. For the better half of my childhood. I totally can like relate to that and I think for me it was, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I would say in a lot of ways it made me bitter in some regard to like having a family of my own, from the standpoint of like, I won't get into details necessarily either, but like what I went through growing up when I got to be in college and then even my early 20s, like a lot of my friends will attest this. I would say like, I'm not interested in having a family and having kids. And I think in a lot of ways for me, it was the fear, right? Because you don't want to set through a cycle of what you went through and put that on your kids. Like, cause
Right,
that's like for me, that's like my biggest nightmare,
Right.
would be able to do that. And so for the longest time, I was very much against all of that. But then I don't know, for me, it took meeting the right person and just being like, okay, now I feel like I want to do that. Cause I think part of me, like I was like, I'm a teacher. So yeah, I like being around kids. Like I feel like I would be like people tell me all the time, like, I think you'd be a good dad. It's just, for me, it's a matter of like wanting, I think not wanting to, but just, I don't know, trusting myself a little bit more and just not being so, I don't know, not making that situation necessarily reflective of like what I could be as a father. So
Okay.
I don't have a question necessarily for you. I just more or less I wanted to share that because I think it's like, I don't know if maybe this helps anybody listening, but for me, it just, I feel so much more free from that situation now that I don't feel the pressure of feeling like I'm going to do that to my kids. So I don't know if you felt similarly at all, but
I think when I had got the news where that I was going to be a father, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. I wasn't where I needed to be, financially or just, I had a spot at a little apartment and stuff like that, but I dream so big. I want better. That's just the kind of guy I am. So my fear was fumbling, And,
right.
And yeah, it's just like chasing a dream, bro. When you bet on yourself and you're going to have your falls, you're going to make your mistakes, you know these things are going to happen. But just having the strength and the faith to just get up and just keep going and pushing, I think that's what matters in the long run. You know what I mean? And so I definitely feel you and hear you on the fear, because I've definitely had some components of that when I had gotten the news. But once the moment you hold your baby in your hands, man, all that goes out the window, man, and you get like this charge, this charge up that just happens in you, and it's like, all right, man, there's no losing, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, all right, I gotta get my business right, I gotta get everything right, BMI, everything, we didn't touch on syncing, but syncing, just learning different avenues of the music business and how do I, keep this thing on autopilot, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's well said. And I think I would love to talk about the sync thing. We'll get to that in a second. But just to kind of wrap this part of the conversation up, I think what it comes down to of what I'm hearing you're saying is, I think just the effort, right? As long as you're providing effort for your kids and that you're present, I think that's something that I wish, not necessarily with my mom, but I felt that way with my dad, and I wish he had been more present. And so that's the thing. Like, I hope that I can be for my children when I'm.
That's love, man.
Yeah,
that's love.
So,
I felt the same way about my pops. Yeah. I felt the same way about my pops for a little bit. You know what I mean? But I had it was funerals bring people together sometimes. Oddly, I had I mean, me and my pops got reacquainted probably about like 7-8 years ago, and
I'm happy to hear that.
There's probably a bunch of questions that him and I could ask each other and stuff like that. But again, I do appreciate the efforts that my mother, she could have folded. There's been definitely been times where she's been stressed out and stuff like that. But even just having that responsibility, feeling like I can't let my mom down. She did all this for me. Just sure. I gotta keep going. I gotta help her out. So now I'm blessed to be at a point where if she needs something, she can hit me up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you, brother.
That's No, I think I did similarly for my mom too. So I feel like we can we can relate. We had that off conversation.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm glad that we can relate on that level. I hope that anybody listening to this, like whether you're either going through something like this or you're potentially going to be a new parent, like I think that feels like the biggest thing is just like being present, being giving effort and I think because it's inevitable we're gonna make mistakes. It's just the reality. It's reality.
It comes with the game, man.
It comes with the territory.
It definitely comes with the game. Yeah.
As long as we're giving our kids at least that next generation, a little bit better of a life, then that's all that really matters. It's like talk to my girl about that all the time. I'm like, hey, with us, like I want to make again I have a beautiful relationship. I love her to death, and it's like we're never going to be perfect, which is fine. But I want to make sure that our kids also grow up like seeing that like there's like at least love between their parents, and that like when there's problems, we're at least able to solve them. Not that there's not going to ever be problems, or that one of us not going to make a mistake, but that we can communicate. We can show them what what a relationship,
functioning,
a functional relationship is supposed to look like. And again, not that it's always going to be perfect,
I had
but
to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot. I had to unlearn some things.
Yeah, man.
Conflict resolution was something I really wasn't the best at. You know what I mean? I handled a lot of things with space. Like, all right, man, you're not doing what all right, just stay. I'll see you when I see you. But facing it head on. Yeah. Trying to really fix things.
It's important.
You can't do this with your kids. You gotta. You know what I mean? At least that's what I believe. So it is what it is. Just really the effort, man. The generation before us, I can't. This isn't like a one size fits all comment, but the generation before us might not have even had the information or, stuff like that to really move forward. A lot of parents just, I wasn't around because I couldn't deal with your mom. Well, what's that got to do with me? I was scared. I was, you know what I mean? But now it's just, I think us, we're the new adults. It's just, it's, because we felt that it's changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I'm first gen. I don't know about you. Like I'm first generation in my family to like go to college, and like both my parents weren't immigrants, but like my grandparents were on my dad's side. Like,
right.
So that's like he grew up here for the first time with parents that also he was parented probably a lot differently too. I feel like as I've grown older, like I've noticed that as well. Like, not to say that's wrong or right, one's right or one's wrong. It's just the reality. Like maybe he was, he's parented a lot differently than maybe what I thought would be good to parent. I don't know. And then again, we'll probably make mistakes, and maybe, hopefully when we're older, our kids don't look at us like we made every mistake, but
right.
Maybe they can learn from us too. So I appreciate this conversation, Rosewood. I think it's important, and
me too. Thank you, brother.
Likewise, you too. And that's a weird transition point to just talk about sync licensing now, but I do want to bring that up because I know you mentioned it. So that's been a big part of your success, which is fantastic. And it makes sense because your music just, I think, equates to a lot of that.
Right.
So what would be like one piece of advice for you would have for artists that are trying to like tap into the sync game that maybe haven't, or like one maybe piece of information, one nugget? You don't have to give it all, but just like one nugget maybe you would give.
I'll be honest, YouTube. It's all like, everything is right here, man. Everything is right here. You just gotta dig and research and look, man. That's just really what it is. Looking up, it's definitely easier said than done. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like just YouTube. No, you gotta do the work. I forget I would have given the page out, but I forgot the name. But one of the first pages I looked at, it was a dude who was like looking up, like teaching you how to go about it, teaching you how to research and research emails of different supervisors. Instagram, I don't use Instagram. I don't use Instagram the same way everyone else uses Instagram. Like me, when I'm on Instagram, I'm literally using the hashtag portion of it, looking up syncing, and then seeing accounts associated with that. Right? That's one piece of game I'm gonna give y'all. You know what I mean?
That's really good.
And then looking at their bio, look if there's an email there, perfect. Go to ChatGPT. It's another piece of game I'm gonna give y'all. ChatGPT, formulate a formal email. It'll do it for you. You know what I mean? And then from there, email that person, and then build. Yeah.
I asked for one nugget. He gave you two. So
I gave you two, man.
No excuse now.
No excuses, baby.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Sure.
My last question, the main lesson I have for you, is your relationship with Tanj, because he's been, I love his videography, and like I know he's done a ton of your videos.
Yeah.
So what has that relationship been like from a standpoint? I know you said you had another videographer you work very close with, Nick, correct, right?
Who I linked up with Tanj. Yeah. So they it's one company
kind of
now.
one company,
now.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
I know they just opened a space as well, which is dope. So congratulations, guys, if you're watching.
Yeah.
How did he help you like visually? Because I know that's been a big part of yourself. Yeah.
Get comfortable. He's gonna laugh when he sees it. So like, he'll send me a video, and I'll send him back like 20 edits. I don't like how my face look here. I don't like how I was looking kind of cheesy here, man. Boy will hit me back like, hey, bro, like you gotta, like, people gotta know you, man. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll make these changes, but people still gotta get to know like the real you too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so once he told me that, I'm like, that's real, bro. He's like, yeah, bro. Like, people could tell when you try and do hard, being too cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, like, just because it was like, I think it was like a funny thing of me dancing. I'm like, I don't like cut. Like, yo, bro, people are gonna love this. Sure enough, he left it in there. It's the Not My Fault video where I'm like trying to moonwalk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just having fun, letting loose. And I was like, I don't know if this is people gonna love this, bro. You know what I mean? And he was right. He was right. He was right.
So they trusted in other creative, but
trusted
also
him.
Trusted him. Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah,
dope.
Yeah.
I laughed when you said that too, because like I mean, clearly I have I've not done nearly the level of what Tanj has been able to accomplish. So again, flowers to him, of course. But I've worked on like about a half dozen music videos myself. I'm kind of getting into that space a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's funny when we get that same thing where like I'm laughing. We're like, I've worked with certain artists and like I think it looks great, right? Or like there's certain things I like, or maybe that has opened them up a little bit, right? And they're like, oh, like I don't want these like little quick. And I'm always happy to do it, but it always makes me laugh. You know, maybe this would be good to keep. You know, maybe it feels authentic. We don't need to like make this super because authenticity, I will say, like it can go a long way. You know, and I feel like in a lot of ways, like. I know it's a completely different side thing, like angle, but as a podcaster, right? Like when I got into this, I always felt like I had to be structured and I had to be, and again, I do have a structure to what I do. But like I'm open to just having like a more authentic conversation, right? Like asking questions that will bring out some authenticity instead of just like, so like how'd you get your start? Not that those questions are bad necessarily, but just I think that authenticity goes further. Then again, you can have a barrier. You don't need to share everything. Right. You know, little pieces here and there. I think it helps. You know what I mean?
It does.
And that can be visually, that can be verbally, that can be a lot of different ways in which you show authenticity. So
Yeah.
If it's just you're just kind of messing around, and then as he captures that, that's smart.
Exactly. It was like a candid piece. I'm like, yo, I didn't even hear your action. What's this? You know what I mean? So, awesome. That's one thing working with Tanj definitely helped me. On the video side, really do. Just have fun, man. Let loose, have fun.
Right. Yeah. Because I think that does translate on
it does
visually,
it
right?
Does.
Clearly, as you said, that one piece that you were iffy on clearly ended up working out.
It did.
Well, shout out to Tanj and the whole team at So Ripe
Studios. Yeah.
Big shout out to them.
Yeah.
Hey Rosewood, this has been a fantastic episode. I'm like so glad you came down here today. We finally got to do this.
Thank you for having me.
It was something that's been a long time coming. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
My last question. This is the open response, and in the open response, we do the dream song scenario.
Okay.
So I'll structure for you. You get 1 to 2 producers, and you get up to 3 guest features.
Right.
And it's Rosewood Bape song, and you can have any artists and producers dead or alive. So who would be on Rosewood Bape's dream song scenario? Once again, 1 to 2 producers and then up to 3 guest features.
So the 2 producers I'd pick would be Pharrell, and then Jon Glass. I think they would both of them in the room because Jon's just fire, man. You know what I mean?
I'm sure Jon would love that.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Both of them in the room. And as far as features go, man, Rosewood Bape for sure featuring. What would make sense here? I'd say for features, I'd go with Joyner.
Okay.
Yeah, just on smooth stuff. You know what I mean? Joyner Lucas, and who else? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd say me and Joyner.
Just you and Joyner.
Just me and Joyner. Yeah. Just me and Joyner. And Jon Glass and Pharrell on the production.
That sounds dope.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, actually, so thank you that you brought that up. This should be out by the time that it's announced. You were going to be on Joyner Fest.
Yeah.
So quickly, I mean, talk a little, as much as you can, talk about how that came to be, and I'm excited. That sounds fantastic.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I was already going to get tickets, so now it's definitely getting tickets. But
yeah. So Joyner, he did his first show in Boston in like 2015, and I opened up for him. You know what I mean? It was me and God. And
shout out to
God, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, we did our thing. Joyner did his thing. And ever since then, we just been just in communication. You know what I mean? He just opened up a frozen ice cream spot. And,
it's in it's right outside Framingham, actually, where I went to school. It's why can't Norwood, right?
No.
It's not Norwood.
It's not Norwood. It's not Norwood.
Why did I think it was?
I want to say like West Boylston, like that area, that kind of. You know what I mean?
Like
you're
right.
Outside of Worcester a little
bit.
Right
out. Yeah, it's like I feel like it's in between Worcester and Framingham. I feel like it's somewhere. Maybe Norwood was the wrong one.
Right. Norwood's more like South Shore a little bit.
You're right. You're right.
But I pulled up on him over there at the grand opening. You know what I mean? Showed love. Ordered. You know what I mean? Ordered a Frio. You know what I mean? And him and I were just talking. Ever since then, we just the DM. We just been talking. He's been giving me a lot of game.
That's awesome.
Outside the music game, though, you know what I mean? Just when we were talking, I'm trying to drop 20 pounds, and he's like, "Yeah, man, just do this. This is what I did when I was trying to do it." You know what I mean? Just life stuff, kids. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's a really cool dude, man. Real cool and authentic.
I've heard that about him.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. You know, he just announced the tour with Millyz. You know what I mean? And you know, that's company right there, Millyz and Joyner, man. So you gotta get Rosewood Bape on there. So that's just what it is.
Super dope, bro.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on all the great success you've had, and
you,
just, you know, I know I came on to you a little bit later on in 2021-ish, but like to see the progression over the last 2.5, 3 years has been really, really dope.
Thank you, bro.
You're a great soul just in general, and I really just appreciate that more than anything else.
That's love, man. I appreciate it, dog.
Every time I see you, I feel like it's nothing but love. You always give me time, and you never have to. So I just really appreciate that.
Always, man. Always, man. You know what I mean? I'm always here, you know, and again, anyone that's doing something that's pushing the culture forward and showing love, genuine souls, I'm all for it, bro. You know what I mean? And you definitely fit that mold, man.
That's respect.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
much
brother.
love, brother. Yeah.
Much love as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, Pharrell, Jon Glass, Joyner Lucas, and Rosewood Bape. It would definitely be a hit because this man makes hits.
Yeah.
So obviously we'd know. Make sure you get tickets to Joyner Fest, which will be in May, correct?
June 22nd.
I think the tour starts in May. My bad.
Yeah,
June 22nd. So make sure you get tickets for that. And then make sure you, of course, stream Rose from Nothing. Linked in the descriptions. Make sure you check that out. And then any videos affiliated will also be linked there as well. So make sure you subscribe to Rosewood on YouTube and follow him everywhere. But again, I'll give you that platform and that time. So the only thing left to do would be to just plug away. Where can the people find you?
Yeah,
and anybody else you want to shout out? Anything else you want to say? Now your time.
Man. Hey, man, it's a kid Rosewood Bape, man. You know what time it is, man. Hey, Rose from Nothing out now on all platforms: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever you listen to, it's on there, man. So just make sure you download it, stream it. Your favorite song, put it up, tag me. Might follow you. Definitely gonna acknowledge you. But hey, show some love, man. Appreciate you.
I love that. If you're a fan of Rosewood Bape, just coming on to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Head up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest. And then, of course, if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to reach out to us at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. All that, of course, will be linked in the description as well. But once again, Rosewood Bape, thank you so much for being here, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
What a time. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Good combo.
Of course.
Yeah.
As always, I'm Mike. That's Rosewood Bape.
Rosewood Bape.
With the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.